move forward to a topic that doesn't often come up, but we have seen it with a great deal, it has generated a great deal of interest this year, and that is there any consideration being given to breaking up the Metropolitan Council into its components and having its members be elected? Question of Metropolitan Council reform has been in the air. We've had some questions about it. Let's start with you, Representative Erdahl. What if anything, has been going on that topic?
I know that there are bills regarding the Met Council. I think that there are those who feel that they have too much authority or have abused their authority or aren't doing what they're supposed to do or were outlined to do in the beginning. So there is legislation. I'm not sure where it is right now in terms of moving through the process. I don't expect that the Senate and the governor are going to meet the bills that we present to them with a great deal of appreciation.
Well, I have mixed feelings about the Met Council. You know, they do have a lot of power, an extraordinary amount of power. I own a business on University Avenue that suffered quite a bit because of a specific Met Council decision, not just light rail, but how light rail was done. And it was they were extremely difficult to deal with. That said, a powerful regional and metropolitan organizational agency is pivotal for our metro area. You got to have it. Any metropolitan area that is successful has an entity like the Metropolitan Council, and they deal with the same things in those cities that we deal with here in the metro area with the Met Council. So I don't know what the solution is, if it's making them elected, but they are essentially, as it stands right now, another government agency that the governor has more control over than anyone else. So that'll have to come up in negotiations with the governor when that time arrives. But the bills that I've seen on the Met Council in the past in drastically changing its structure have not been successful.
Just to play devil's advocate here on this particular issue, I would go back to the discussion we had early in our program, early in this year. I think it was a bipartisan bill. I'm not sure who the Republican author, but I think Senator Rest was on it, and it had to do with basically providing for representation of communities and giving communities an opportunity to have a veto on representation. So it wasn't a direct election bill, but it was at least some check on the Metropolitan Council. And I think, you know, the lawyers love to talk about checks and balances. Have you heard anything about that bill on the House side, Representative Lesch?
I don't know where it stands on the House side right now. It seems to me a step in the right direction. It's funny though, because when I think about elections or vetoes, I think about judges, right? By and large in Minnesota, we have really good trial judges and judges, yourself included, who are subject to election. And there's a bill in calling for probably a similar measure like a recall election. The current Metropolitan Council members are probably as accountable to the voters as a judge probably is right now, because judges are always reelected virtually all the time unless they've done something really bad. And Met Council members are typically reappointed, or they stay in there unless they've done something really bad, in which case it's noted by the governor. So I don't know how much of a difference that would make. I'm not familiar with the bill, but it could potentially be a step in the right direction.
Well, we will follow that in the remaining weeks here.